So y'all want to talk practice? You want to talk practice? Yep, we going to talk practice. So let's talk practice. The Sooners had a scrimmage on Saturday. All the insiders are talking about it. You see all the notes flying around and whatnot. I had someone that was there that shot me a bunch of notes, and they gave me permission to talk about it. So we're going to do that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. This video is powered by our partners over there at BetUS TV. Check out their YouTube channel. They're hooking you up with all kinds of odds and breakdowns all about the gambling world. So check them out on YouTube, BetUS TV. So we got to talk about scrimmage, practice, and just how good things was looking, right? So I had a few notes that came across that I felt like was very, very significant for you fans that I know you all want to hear about. So let's jump right into it, shall we? First and foremost, the big thing that came across, and I actually had a couple of people send me some notes on practice, and then I started to see what the insiders were talking about. Everything lines up. So people that sent me stuff, they're probably watching this video now, and no, I wasn't calling you a liar. I just like to make sure information's vetted, but so you're good. I knew that you were telling me the truth, but seeing that everybody saw everything similarly really helps with being able to convey this message here to everyone here. So I wanted to preface that first. First and foremost, both sides of the ball had a solid going on scrimmage Saturday. If there's anything that I can say to me based upon what I've deciphered, Brent Venables is not going to be pleased with his defense no matter what. But at the same time, the defense did as good as you would expect, and the offense also showed up. This doesn't look anything like last year. Everyone has pointed out to me that this looks completely different than last year in practice. And I told y'all that, I mentioned about some of the practice notes I saw that, quarterback was being forged in fire and, throwing everything odd and crazy at him. And it was a little bit of a challenge for the young quarterbacks. It's not as much for our guy, John Mateer. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that he has embraced, and he is doing his part. So, as y'all know, John Mateer is him. He's literally all we're hearing about. He's literally the one everyone's talking about. Mateer is that dude. And it is 100% true. That is literally all everybody's talking about. Now, in the scrimmage, there wasn't a lot of tackling, but it was physical play in practice or whatnot. And Mateer was putting the ball in all kinds of spots, and the wide receivers was getting some acrobatic catches going. One note that was sent to me that I loved, and I have to repeat, is that Mateer is still working on understanding the tendencies of his receivers. So there are tendencies of passes being a little erratic, low, high, to the side. So you can expect that Mateer may have a little bit more passing turnovers than the last set of quarterbacks. He'll probably throw more interceptions this year. Now, I don't think he'll throw more than 10, but I can see him bumping against double digits, no problem, because he's an aggressive quarterback. He likes to chunk that thing, and he throws it hard. The receivers appreciate that part too, because then they can go out there and do some wild stuff. And there's a few wide receivers that was really making some wild catches. I'm going to talk about them, but first, shout out to our partners over there at BetUS TV. They're hooking y'all up with all of the odds and stuff here on YouTube. Their channel is growing, so check them out. One big thing, we were looking at the odds here for this coming season, and, more so the win totals, and Oklahoma is still sitting at a very good spot at 6.5, and I expect that number to maintain tight, but it's also favored to go over. To me, I've already jumped on it a few times, so if you want to get on the action, go check them out, BetUS TV. They'll give you all the breakdowns and odds on why you should go what direction or not. They're also doing big stuff here for March Madness. So check them out. Gamble responsibly. BetUS TV, where the game begins. Now, I mentioned wide receivers that were showing up and showing out, so I got to talk to you about it. Elijah Thomas is that dude. Just understand that. Now, we've talked about him a few times here on the channel. I've given y'all my hype on him and why I feel like he's going to be something ridiculous. Yeah, he's already that dude. Zion Kearney. I actually got to see a little video on him. Yeah. Zion Kearney. So your wide receivers, Zion Kearney, Giovanni Gibson, Deion Burks, Isaiah Satania are the 4 names that I heard the most about, with Elijah Thomas as the one freshman that's just jumping off the page. Like, he's making all kinds of acrobatic catches and showing off massive athleticism. So basically, think of it this way. Elijah Thomas could be your next CD Lamb. I know. It's a lot to say. But he could be that dude. Just saying. There were a lot of mixtures with 2 running back personnel. So you saw some 21, some 12. So you saw some 2 tight end stuff. You saw a lot of 4 wide. So some 10. You saw some good mixtures out there. And in the running back room, Sawchuk, Xavier Robinson seem to be the ones that are headlining things, with Barnes is already out. Tatum is baseball, but I think he's actually at the scrimmage, I heard. But your wide receivers, Satania and Burks, I don't know how they're going to be able to keep them off the field at the same time. But Arbuckle's going to have to figure out a way to get them on the field at the same time. Isaiah Satania is becoming one of the big surprises next to Giovanni Barnes from the transfer portal wide receivers. Ridiculous. And I know I've focused heavily on offense on here. We're going to talk some defense in a second. But that's what it is. The offense is where it's at. Tight end wise, we did see some tight end stuff. Will Huggins sounds like the name that I've heard from a couple of people that is the one to keep your eyes out on. He could be the next worthwhile tight end. Not saying that he's going to be a game breaker or he's going to be a generational talent. He played really good at tight end, and he was impressive enough that you saw a lot of them. So if Huggins is one that gets us there, hey, look, there's zero reason for me to complain, because as we all know, truth be told, we need a tight end to show up. And somebody asked me, I talked about when I did my position breakdowns at running back, and I talked about our guy, Von Mitchell, and the one thing I said was, I just haven't heard anything about him. Not that he's been good, not that he's been bad. I just haven't heard anything about him. It's just been silent, and it's still that way. Now remember, though, Huggins is also a redshirt senior. He played at Kansas before he transferred to Pittsburgh State. So he played P4 ball, went to he actually scored a touchdown against Oklahoma, against us. So we've synced him before, but he's a redshirt senior as well, super senior. So he's got a lot of experience, and so at 262, he should be able to grasp the concept of the offense a lot easier than most and make something happen. And it sounds like he did. Offensive line wise, the same offensive line I've told y'all that I expected to play. Left tackle, Jacob Sexton. Guard, EPL, Eddie Pierre-Louis. Troy Everett at center. Fabichi Wewu at right guard. Derek Simmons at right tackle. You know, Derek Simmons, strong hands. He throws like them barrels of hay. I know it's bales of hay. I just like to say barrels because it makes people mad. But he's the country strong kid. Derek was out there doing it. So supposedly that offensive line that's the configuration. But there's one thing that jumped out to me too, and everybody keeps telling me that number 56 is a beast. Number 56 is a monster. Number 56 is out there kicking tail. Y'all know who number 56 is? Michael Fasusi. Yep. Sounds like Michael Fasusi is making a name for himself to the point that there's a good chance you may see that dude taking somebody's spot soon. Just saying. He's going to be fighting for some starts. Same thing with Ryan Faugier. So your two true freshman tackles, I mean, Gabe said it himself. He said that Foger looks like an SEC guard right now, the way he plays. And if I'm correct, tackle is a lot harder to play than guard. So guard is one that's easier to grasp. And Fasusi, I'm sorry, not Fasusi, Foger looks like a SEC one. Now, you got Fasusi that can play left tackle. You've got, I like Fabichi Webu. I think that he's going to grow more because he's year 2 under Beatonbow. But Foger could be fighting for a chance to get into game 2. Him and Eddie Pierre-Louis. It sounds like we are much deeper on the offensive line than we were last year, which is huge. Think about it. Our biggest problem is that we had to go into the barrel of freshmen, of true freshmen, and make them play last season. We ain't going to do that this year. At all. We've got enough veterans for you to go too deep, but these 2 true freshmen are that darn good they can play now. That's key. Now, last thing, defense. And I'm going to do another video on the defense just to give them their deserved respect, but a lot of mixtures and configurations. There's a true freshman that's jumping out that I'm not going to talk about on this video. I'm going to do it on my next one. Got to give you a reason to come back, right? But the defense is probably going to be as good as last year, but there's a chance that statistically it will end up better than last year's team. I know it's going to be tough, but there's a reason why. We'll talk about that in another video. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, subscribe, all of that jazz, so you don't miss that drop. But we'll talk about that in the next video because, yeah, there's a reason why. Shout out to BetUS TV. Check them out here on YouTube. They give you all the odds and analysis in the gambling world. And, they're ramping it up now for March Madness. So check them out. Search them on YouTube, BetUS TV. I will have another video out this week. As you can see, I'm traveling, but I'm still got the content coming. We got to talk about Bo Bentley. We got to talk about him. We've got to, like I said, I didn't get to record today because I was flying. We got to talk about Bo Bentley. We've got to talk about the defense in the scrimmage. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So make sure y'all hit that like and that subscribe button and bell notification. We'll chop it up soon.